Hi, my name is Huen. I'm a L'Oreal portfolio artist. I've been working as a hairstylist for more than 15 years, and I do coloring, cutting, and perming on type 1 hair all the time. Today, I want to share with you how to identify type 1 hair and what are the right ways and the right product to use on type 1 hair. This is my model today, Dexter. He has a hair type of type 1 B to C. How do we identify the type 1 hair? Is type 1A has very fine hair and its lack of elasticity. It's easier to damage, and also its lack of volume because of the flatness. Very easy to get greasy. And my model Dexter here is between type 1B and type 1C. So how do we identify is type 1B, it's coarser than type 1A hair. It's still very straight and it has more elasticity than type 1A. But Dexter has coarser hair types, so he will be identified to be between type 1B and type 1C. And for type 1C, it's a little bit of the bend and a little bit more of the frizziness. But Dexter has very straight hair. You can see we did have a little bit bending, but it's for the styling. So Dexter, this part is Dexter's real texture. It's very straight but very coarse. So with the texture, the most coarse is identified as type 1C, and with the straight texture is identified as type 1B. So Dexter is between both. My model Dexter doesn't want to change his base color, so therefore I'm choosing a highlighting technique on his hair to show more of his layers. Before we're working on the highlights with pre-lighting, I will usually do an elasticity test before doing it, because there are clients coming in with very coarse hair, but they already have their hair relaxed or they have done keratin treatment from the past. If that's the case, you're doing a pre-lighting or lightening on that client's hair, the chances of breakage is very, very high. So once I wet my model's hair, I would love to tie a very loose knot. So it's so loose that you can put the tip of the tail comb into the hair strand. And then we are going to tighten it, and we release it again and see how the hair is reacting. So after you pull the knot tight and you loosen it up again, if it is not loosened up in 5 seconds, it means that it has low elasticity. And obviously, this Dexter hair is not loosened up, so he has a low elasticity hair. So we are doing this test from the roots and then loosen it up, bring it to the middle part and do it again and loosen up, and then bring all the way to the ends. I'm testing the elasticity throughout the length with 3 points, because sometimes you often see the hair that closer to the scalp has more elasticity and the hair closer to the ends has less elasticity. If Dexter Jr.'s hair has a lot of very strong elasticity, we're not afraid to go for a higher volume. And also we can leave it very long or do a double application. Because Dexter is using hot water to wash his hair every single day, therefore, before doing the lightening, it's very important to use a metal detox spray. It prevents breakage during the lightening surface and also uneven color tone. Because we just did a thin layer of the metal detox spray, therefore we only separate to few sections, spray it and then comb it through. Because Dexter natural level is level 3 and he wants to do a very high lift from level 3 to level 9. Therefore, we are choosing lightener that has built-in bonder. So for Dexter here, we did a highlight with horizontal sections with 2 pieces, 3 pieces all the way up, and then 2 pieces again. Why am I doing this? Is because Dexter has a very wide head shape. So therefore, I add 1 more piece in the middle to make it look more even. So I've done on the left front side, it's like a horizontal section, but when you're looking from the top, it's a bit of the diagonal. So after we are going to do the same thing on the other side, and after that, it will create a V shape. The way that I'm picking Dexter highlight is, I'm using drawing a triangular shape on the base, which is on the scalp. And then I will apply lightener. The reason of doing this is because Asian hair, when you're working on the weaving technique, sometimes you create a square shape of the highlights, and when it falls down, the ends doesn't look pointier, it will look square. Sometimes when we are working on the crown area on type 1 hair, the crown area hair will spikes up unevenly. Therefore, we always want to help the hair, let the hair to fall down and check on the hair flow. If there's one piece of the hair suddenly go to the other side, we will want to adjust it and pick the strands out again. So I've done these pieces 55 minutes ago, and I would like to max the time before checking it. So after 55 minutes, I open it up and have a check on and see if it's light enough. Right now what we see is the ends is already very light to almost a level 9. But the mid shaft isn't going really far. It's still like a 7. So therefore, we want to apply it again on the area that is not light enough. So I just wipe it off from the regrowth to the ends. After we rinse it off with color shampoo, then I use a Dear Light 9.02 to pre-tone Dexter hair. The reason of using a Dear Light is because it is an acidic color that can help balance the pH. And with very high lift lightened hair, usually the pH brings to a very high level. That way we want to bring the pH back to prevent breakage. Pro tip: when we are choosing the right color for type 1 hair, we often find that there are lots of type 1 hair with very dark eye color. Therefore, we would like to identify if it's a warm tone or if it's cool tone by the blood vein. And if your blood vein is on the blue side, you're more on the cool tone. And if your blood vein is on the green side, then you are more on the warmer tone. And if your skin tone, it's very light but with very dark base, you might be. So there are 4 season color, which is winter, summer, autumn, and spring. If your skin tone is light but it's warm, then you're probably on the spring side. If your skin tone is warm also but it's a little darker, then you might on the autumn side. And if your skin tone is on very light and also your hair might be natural level a little lighter, then you're on the summer side. And if it's winter color, then you might have very dark eyebrows and very dark natural hair color. I chose a very light gray with a pitch of blue to match Dexter's natural base color. Now we are working on the hair cutting on type 1 hair. After I'd done the color service on Dexter's hair, I washed his hair and then I dried it completely. Because Dexter has a type of type 1B to C, it's very coarse, therefore I choose to use a dry cut technique. So cutting hair dry can help to see the reaction of the hair, especially on the hairline and on the crown area. So now I'm cutting the hair fringe to in between eyebrows and the eyes. Pro tip, it's when you're cutting a bangs on type 1B to C hair, remember always want to leave it and half an inch to 1 inch longer than the actual length. So when we are cutting a fringe, other than leaving half an inch to an inch longer, we do not want to add any tensions onto the hair, because when we calm it down and it shrinks up very high and you're giving it tensions, then it will just pops up to the length that we do not want. When we are doing type 1A hair, because the hair doesn't shrink that badly and also lack of weight, therefore we want to do a shallow point cutting to make the hair blend but keep the weight at the same time. So we comb it from the regrowth to the ends, and we leave with the wider teeth because it has the less tension. Then we put it on our fingers without any tension, and then we close our fingers, and then we do a deeper point cutting. So see how it reacts. For this mannequin, it's okay, it's not bouncing back too much. So we would like to adjust it and bring it closer to the eyebrow this time. Always check with your client, see if this is the length that he wants, because he talked about between eyebrows and his eyes that we can go just a little more shorter. So this is the length that we want, and we go from the middle to the side. So we are picking sections 1 inch away from the crown area. And then I'm going to comb it outwards. Then I'm using the tip of the scissors, just the tip of the scissors, to slide from the regrowth to the mid shaft. The reason I'm doing this is because type 1B and between type 1B and type 1C hairs, it spikes up very well. So that's the way we want to use the spikes to give the volume of the hair. So look at the two sides. I take away the weight from the sides of the fringe and also give an airy texture on the top. And this part we didn't do anything. It is still very strong weight around the fringe area, and it's too flat on the top. For the pro tip, if you're doing the texturizing techniques on Dexter hair or this same kind of hair texture, do not do it close to the crown area, because if we're sliding hair from the regrowth, you will see unwanted spikes. So we are now on to the styling, and Dexter hair is a type 1B to C. Although he has very coarse hair, but his hair is also very straight. Therefore, the product that we are choosing has to be very, very light. and also has to be the max of strong hold. So on Dexter hair, I use the fixed paste to help the ends to join together after I do a bend of the flipping with the straightener, and it also helps the hair to be volumized. So what we are going to do, we just apply the amount of your fingers. Try not to do too much or else you will see the white spot on your hair, on your model's hair. And then you rub it all over your hands. And then you try to apply it all over the ends. You push it up a bit and to create volume. So after we apply the fixed paste on the Dexter hair, we still want a stronger hold. Because of type 1 hair is so easy to go flat again, therefore I use like the max strong hold of the hairspray to hold the shape. It is kind of like a glue to glue the ends together and prevent it from falling back down again. When I'm sending my clients back home, usually I will recommend 2 products. One is a volumizing color shampoo and also a purple shampoo, which we also call silver shampoo. Because Dexter is washing his hair once or twice a day, which is very typical for type 1 hair men. So therefore, we want to use purple shampoo to add the pigments back into the hair to neutralize the yellow tone. So there are 3 things I want to recap. And the first thing, always check your hair type first before making any decision. And the second, before doing any coloring or lightening service, check your client's skin tone before choosing the right color. And also the third point would be always check the elasticity before doing the lightening service. Checking the elasticity before doing the lightening can prevent any breakage. Thank you for watching this video. I'm sure you learned a lot about type 1 hair. I encourage you to check out other videos from other colleagues to learn about other hair types. Don't forget to follow us on the power of the collective on social media. And thank you so much.